Digital Connect program for Oklahoma State University with Lucky International School, Jodhpur. Thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule and being with us. My name is Nupur Anand. I take care of digital marketing and School Connect. Along with me, I have my colleague Afsha Aziz. She takes care of School Connect in University Outreach. So starting with the university, so just to give you a very quick brief, this university is counted as top 50 public universities in US and #1 in state. 92 best college in US. It is also known as top 10 best value engineering college and best college value 14 years since the year 2000 by Kiplinger Personal Finance. And from this wonderful university, we have Audrey Bridger joining us, International Recruitment Specialist. Good morning, Audrey.
Good morning.
Okay. So the school which we have today is Lucky International School, Jodhpur, which is in Rajasthan state. The school was founded in 2015. School is affiliated to Cambridge International Curriculum. This is ranked #1 day-come boarding school in Jodhpur, and the most leading education magazine of Asia has confirmed this school as #1 school in Jodhpur of excellence in education sector. And from this wonderful school, we have participants. Ragini Kachwa ma'am, unfortunately she's not well, she won't be joining us today. We have Mr. Ajay Kumar, working currently as school coordinator with Lucky International School, and Dr. Garima Mathur, currently working as psychologist with Lucky International School. Welcome all of you.
Hello everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So moving on, just to give you a very quick brief about UniBrijj as well. We work as Regional International Office for Universities. We are supporting universities through tailored student recruitment services like Virtual Connect, dedicated in-country advisor, digital marketing, student recruitment tour, and other support. That's it from my side. And before I would request Audrey to take it forward from here, first I would request Ajay sir to give some insight about this school. I'm sure Audrey would love to know.
Hi everyone. Just want to introduce the school. This is a Lucky International School. It is the youngest of all the schools run by a Sanstha. The Sanstha is known as Lucky Shishan Sanstha. It's a 49-year-old educational society. Sanstha runs 4 schools and 3 colleges, all in Jodhpur. And Lucky International School is the youngest of all the schools run by this same Sanstha only. And the school is affiliated with Cambridge International Curriculum and also the National Curriculum, CBSE. The school came into existence in the year 2015. From that time onwards, the school tries to, live up to the expectations of the people of this city, imparting them quality education. And this is the first year the school has the students of A-level passing out. So there are some good students who are expecting good grades. They have scored good grades in their AS-level examinations in the past examination they had. And they are attending their A-level examinations in the February-March series. So they are looking for their admissions, particularly in the US and UK. These are the 2 locations they are looking for. So they are trying their applications now. They are trying to file their applications and all. They are making their applications, like SOP writing is going on. Their LORs are getting prepared and they are making profiles. One of the students, no, 3 of the students, they have got their name registered with the India Book of Records. So they have got a record in, within 1 minute, they have done 222 seed planting. So this is the record in a registered record in India Book of Records. Then they are trying to get into the Guinness World Book of Records. That's their next, I think, that their attempt. And they have formed one NGO, right? Presently, they have formed an NGO to take care of the nature. Again, it is actually a plantation drive and all. So they're very active students, and they're looking for some good offers from good universities. I think 3 of them, they are looking for their courses in engineering, mainly related to computer engineering. And their specialization they're looking for, one is AI, another is gaming and game developments. So that is one thing. And ethical hacking. These are some of the areas they are interested in. And I have around 5 students from this same batch. They are looking for commercial studies, BSc in economics and BBA. They're looking for the commercial studies part also. So this is what about the school, and hope that we'll have a good association ahead.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. How big is your school? How many students do you have there?
I told you it's a new school, pretty new school, starting 2015, and we have crossed 500 students recently. This year we have crossed 500 students.
Okay.
So considering the fee structure that we are having in the city where we are existing, we are considered to be one of the top schools which is charging high fee, right? So
Yeah.
you can see that you can see that yeah, economics come into plays a big role. So when it comes to admissions, so there is actually a filtration happens.
Yeah.
So that is why we have around 520 students right now.
All right.
And
Great.
Mr. Kumar, if I remember correctly, that your school doesn't teach your students by their books, but I think this is the
Yeah,
only school that uses iPads.
Oh,
yes, we don't use textbooks. We have tab education. That's a pedagogy we are using, teaching through tablets. Every student has his own tablet, and the entire teaching content, that is digital content, that is shared through the tab. They have many apps, all in-house developed, all apps related to maths, for maths, then science, different branches of science, then language development, then digital language classes. Everything is given through their tablet. So when they come to school, they have to carry their tabs, and while the teacher is teaching, the teacher that we use a platform. So whatever the teacher is teaching and whatever she's writing on the boards, that automatically displayed in their tab, that auto saved in their tab, so that they can utilize any time later on, till the time they have the tabs with you. So they with them, that they can utilize that anytime, they can go back to their lessons. And if they are absent on a day, they are not missing their classes. So the day, then they, wherever they are sitting, they can just switch on their classroom and they can attend the class.
that's really cool. A whole different way of note taking when you don't, it just magically appears on your tablet. That's cool.
Yes.
All right. Well, should I go ahead and get started with, see if I'm able to share my screen here. All right. Well, it skipped the first slide, but that's okay. So thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to learn a bit more about Oklahoma State. So I'm really excited to be able to speak with you today and see if our university could be a really good fit for your students. Some of the majors that you've already mentioned, we do have programs, so I'll speak to those a bit as we go along. But my name is Audrey Bridgers. I'm the International Recruitment Specialist here at OSU. And I work with a team of 3 others in the admissions office to help international students apply and get admitted and come to OSU. So you'll hear me mention maybe my colleagues' names as we go throughout the presentation, because I certainly don't work and do it all alone. So the first part, I'm just going to kind of go through our requirements, and then I think the last half is a bit more fun, and we'll talk about the different programs and about campus. But as far as our admissions requirements, we do require for freshmen a 3.0 high school GPA. That's on a 4.0 scale. You did mention the A levels, and so we do accept students that have taken A levels, and our international evaluator, so my colleague Ramya, she works to translate all of those over into what the GPA would be on a 4.0 scale. So students, we would accept those. And then we have the English language proficiency exam score requirement. So that's a 5.5 on the IELTS or a 61 or above on the TOEFL. Due to COVID and testing centers being closed or just having different hours, we are currently accepting the Duolingo exam as well. So if the IELTS or the TOEFL is not accessible for your students, then we would be able to accept the Duolingo. So the needed score on the Duolingo is an 85. And that's for all of 2021 so far. So I'm pretty hopeful that maybe that can be a permanent change, but for right now, we are accepting Duolingo for spring, summer, and fall of 2021. And then I don't know if the transfer requirements are applicable here, but just so that you have them, you'll have access to this presentation later as well to reference, but it goes by the number of credit hours they're bringing in, and then we end up looking at their college GPA. And feel free, if at any time, feel free to interrupt me if you think of any questions as I'm going along. Sure. So our application materials, our application is online. It can be accessed, so you'll have the link here. It's not a part of the Common App. That's a question that I sometimes receive because there are schools in the US that are part of Common App. So ours is a unique application, but it's pretty quick, so they can complete that online. There's a $90 international application fee. And then in addition to those two items, we'll need a copy of their passport identification page, the English language proficiency test scores, their transcripts, and the financial guarantee form. So for transcripts, we are able to accept unofficial transcripts for the purposes of admission. If it takes a little bit of time to get official transcripts, then we understand that, and they can just submit unofficial grades, and then we can move forward with their application, and at a later date they can submit their official transcripts. And then for that financial guarantee form, this is the federal requirement that allows for them to obtain their I-20 and get their student visa. So just fill out that form and provide a bank statement. And then all of these items can just be sent to us at international@okstate.edu. So for our deadlines, they're about just 2 months in advance for students that are currently outside of the United States. So if they're coming in the spring, we're looking at November 1, or for the fall, we're looking at June 1. And those are pretty standard. There are a couple of majors, and I'm going to talk about one of them in a bit, that have their own kind of application timeline, but for the great majority, like 99% of our programs, will follow these deadlines here. And then we have our estimated cost of attendance. So we've broken it down here to try to be as transparent as possible, but that total number that you see at the bottom, that is what is required on the financial guarantee form. But you'll notice for tuition and fees, we did a 30 credit hour estimate. So that's one full academic year here in the US. 15 credit hours per semester is pretty standard. And that comes up to that 28,220, which is the same as our out-of-state students. So for that portion, it's not anymore for an international student, but we do wrap in the housing and meals, books and supplies, also personal expenses. This one I always like to speak to, because if they are looking at other options within the US, not every university includes personal expenses as a part of their cost of attendance. So to make sure that when they're comparing, they realize that. And then also health insurance. So if a student already has health insurance and they're going to keep that health insurance and it's the same, then we're happy to drop off that portion. And then to help pay for everything, very important, so we have international student scholarships. These are university assured scholarships. Well, we have two different options, but first, university assured scholarships are determined by a student's GPA and then a test score. This is pretty straightforward. If they meet these requirements, then they're just going to automatically receive these awards. So there's no separate application that they have to fill out. It's just if they apply to the university, they're admitted, we're going to go look at their GPA and their test scores. And then if they're eligible, they'll automatically receive money on their account. We also have university competitive. So these are a little bit different. This would be for after a student is already admitted and enrolled. Then depending on where they are in the university, which college or department, they will have other funding opportunities available to them. So for example, our College of Engineering, they give out over $1 million in scholarships to their students every single year. So if a student applies, maybe they get the university assured, but then they're going into the College of Engineering, they're going to have another pool of money that they're eligible for and that they can apply for. So this is the chart for our university assured. So a student applies to us, they have a 3.25 GPA, so they've met that requirement, and then they're going to need to meet one of these test score requirements. So it's different levels or tiers, they don't have to meet all of them. You'll notice that ACT and SAT are listed as options here. We do not require the ACT or the SAT for admission, but if a student happens to have taken one of these tests, then we're happy to recognize the score for their scholarship. So, for example, if they have a 3.25 GPA and then they have a 6.0 IELTS, they're going to automatically receive that $16,000 per year or $4,000, or excuse me, $16,000 total or $4,000 per year. Alternatively, if they're coming in with the 3.25, the 6.0 IELTS, and they've also taken the ACT and received a 27, then we're going to honor that 27, and that's going to bump their award amount up to that 28,000 total or 7,000 per year. So, and then Duolingo is not listed on our chart here, just since we normally don't accept it, but it will be figured in. So if the student has taken the Duolingo, that's not going to hinder their chances at getting a scholarship. We'll still see what the equivalent is with, you know, where it ranks on this, on the chart here. All right, so that's kind of the less fun portion. I think this is more fun because I get to speak about our campus and why OSU is really a great option for international students. So I would like to point out this, this link here is available in multiple language. We have a web page available in multiple languages. So if that's a helpful resource, just be aware that that link does exist. This is kind of a snapshot of our university. We were founded in 1890. The population of Stillwater is about 50,000, and almost half of that is our student population. So it's a very young, vibrant, happening community, a lot going on. And then 26% of that student population is from out of state. So that would include our international students as well. We are a member of the Big 12 Athletics. So athletics is a big deal. Football season, especially in the fall. And then we have more than 500 student organizations that students can be a part of. So I'll speak to some of those as we go along. So we are located in Stillwater, Oklahoma. So that's pretty much like right in the middle of the US. We're right north of Texas. We're about a 3-hour plane ride from either LA or New York, depending which way you're going. So kind of gives you some perspective. We're known for being very friendly, safe, and affordable. So for students that are wanting to experience the US, but do so at a, you know, on a smaller budget, then Stillwater, Oklahoma offers a lot in that area. So we were ranked top 8 best college town by Forbes magazine. We've also been on the top 100 best places to live list. And then going back to that safety, so we have our campus police force as well as our community police force. And then we have a few other resources for students as well. So we have blue lights around campus, and these are essentially a pole with a blue light on top that has an emergency button. So anywhere on campus, if there's an emergency situation, a student can push the button on one of these poles, and they're all around. So you don't have to look very far to find one, and they'll be connected to a dispatcher. Of course, a lot of students, or all students, pretty much have phones these days. So we also have an app that's used to alert students of any emergency situation. So a lot of time that's weather. So we do have storms sometimes in the spring. So that's mainly used for weather, but other things. So we do have a safe walk that you can request through the app. So that is if a student is in the union or the library late at night and they would feel more secure having someone walking with them back to their dorm or their residence hall, then they can request someone to come and walk with them. So we have that available as well. All of that being said, it's wonderful to have the resources. However, we are a very safe community. It's very well lit. People can walk around at night, and it's fine. And then as far as being connected to some larger cities, we're about 1 hour from Oklahoma City or Tulsa. So these are the 2 bigger cities within our state. They're about just shy of 1 million people, offer a lot in way of dining and entertainment. Also 1 hour. I don't know how you guys do it there, but we tend to describe how far away something is in terms of time instead of distance. And then I added this because I'm always trying to show where we are. So just to give you a better picture, there we are on the map. So we're in north central Oklahoma. and then our international community. So we do have more than 100 countries represented here on campus, and we have a very active and vibrant international student organization. So this is, out of all of our student organizations, this is the #1 that I would recommend for international students, because it's always great to connect with other students that are kind of in the same boat as you are, you know, having gone abroad and having to adjust, and just being an international student, you know, finding people to connect with. So I think that that's a great one to at least get started your first semester, or students' first semester, so that they can make friends. They host a number of different events throughout the year, including Cultural Night and International Bazaar. Both of these are opportunities to share a bit with their culture and their cuisine with the local community. We also have Mr. and Mrs. International each year, and then it's not on here, but we also have an International Olympics, so a sporting competition that is pretty fun, that happens each year. As for international student support, so that starts with myself and my colleagues in the admissions office. So we help, you know, pre-application all the way through the application process, being admitted prior to arrival, making sure everything's good to go with their visa, their flights, everything like that. And then once they arrive, they will meet with International Student Services. And then from there on out, International Student Services will really be their go-to contact on campus. And then in addition, we also have campus support services. So health services, university health services, counseling, tutoring, all of these are available on campus. We even have a pet therapy program. So we have registered pet therapy dogs that you can find around campus throughout the week to just take a break and hang out with some pet therapy dogs. So for our academics, I've listed the top 10 majors on the left side of the screen here. If you have students that are interested in something that's not included here, that's okay. We have more than 200 majors available. A couple of these that I do want to mention or talk about. The first is aviation. So aviation is a highly competitive, very popular program here at OSU. We are, our flight training center is in the top 15% in the country. And we have an RATP program. So that basically means if a student is wanting to be a commercial pilot, they have less flight time hours that they have to complete after graduation. So that's kind of what makes our program very appealing to students. The reason I mention it, though, is that it does have a very different timeline. So they only take students in the fall, and applications are due almost 1 full year in advance. So for students entering fall of 21, the aviation pro pilot applications actually due November of this year. So very, very different from all of our other programs. And then also chemical engineering. I just like to talk about our engineering building. I know you said computer engineering, so that would fall into this as well. But the building that's in the top right picture, this is the Endeavor building, and it was completed and opened, I believe, in January of 2019. But it is a state-of-the-art, one-of-a-kind, 72,000 square foot innovation and research lab specifically for our engineering students, so engineering undergraduate students. So that's really what makes it unique, is that it was designed and built for the purpose of giving our undergraduate engineering students this incredible lab space that they can go into from day one and get involved with hands-on learning. Okay, and then continuing with academics, so we do have 5 academic colleges. Within those 5 academic colleges, we have more than 200 programs available. And then we also have an honors college that's ranked one of the top 10 honors programs in the nation. So students that are a bit more academically inclined and you know, really benefit from that discussion-based, smaller classroom, then they would probably enjoy the honors college experience. And if they go all 4 years, they do have that that option of having that honors distinction on their diploma, on their degree when they graduate. Hands-on undergraduate research opportunities. So I just spoke about the Endeavor building, which is engineering undergraduate research and lab space. However, it's not just engineering, it's not even just the STEM fields. Our university, we are a land-grant institution, and that's research is really at the root of everything that we do here. So regardless of what a student is studying. If research is something that they're interested in, then they will be able to get involved with research here. So that can be education or music, as well as the STEM fields. And then you'll see some of our ratings there. We are a QS 5-star university, and we've been rated a top public university by Niche and US News and World Report. As for campus life, we do require our freshman students to live on campus. Research has shown that this just helps get them more connected and set them up for success as they move through their undergraduate years. So we do require it for year one, but after that, if a student would prefer to live off campus, that's okay. As far as the housing that's provided on campus, we have a traditional dorm, so that would be 2 people per room with communal bathrooms, all the way up to apartment, which is going to offer the most privacy and have a fully contained kitchen. And then the suites and the deluxe suites are kind of in the middle. So maybe a student has a private room, shares a bath with one other person, and then has a communal kitchen. Within our housing options, we have 14 living and learning communities. So these are where students can live amongst others that have similar interests. So some of them are just hobby-based, and some of them are major-based, but an opportunity for them to move into, their residence hall the first day, and they know that they have something in common with the others around them. We have 30 dining options, more than 30 dining options available all across campus. So the residence halls have dining options. There are many of the colleges have dining options, so you don't ever have to go very far. We do have the kind of grab and go convenience store all the way up to like full-blown sit-down restaurants that are run by our hospitality and tourism management program students. And then many of our dining options are found within the student union. So the student union is actually the nation's largest student union. So it's a really central hub on campus for not just dining, but anything that a student needs. There are many, many offices there. There's study spaces. There's the campus bookstore and the campus spirit store if they want to buy some OSU apparel before the big game. And then we even have a barbershop and a post office. So they don't even have to leave if they need a haircut or if they just need to mail something home. And then also on campus, we have the Colvin Recreation Center. So we offer group fitness classes, personal training, and intramural sports, in addition to what you can kind of see here on your screen. So the rock climbing wall, the pool that was sadly closed this year, and then of course like the weight rooms and stuff. So there are definitely measures in place because of COVID, not just at the recreation center, but all across campus. Masks are required, social distancing measures are in place, but normally during the summer the pool would be open, and yeah, it's a really nice space for students. And then we have more than 500 student organizations. So I already spoke to our international student organization, which is just one of many, as you can tell. So students, they really, no matter what their interest is or what their goals are while they're here, they're going to have the opportunity to connect with others, make friendships, and really find their sense of community. So they can do that through the Student Government Association. There are different major related organizations, religious affiliated organizations. There's Greek Life, philanthropic for those that would like to get involved with volunteer work. And really that all kind of wraps into, getting connected, making friends, and becoming part of the Cowboy family. So something that we value and pride ourselves on here at OSU is being a supportive family for not just for the students, but with the students. So like all of us together, it's really a family community. Even though we are a large state school, it does have a small town family feel to it. It's, as far as education, we offer like a very high caliber. We have all of these amazing facilities that some of which you've seen throughout the presentation, but it's not competitive necessarily in where you go into a lab and you feel like you're competing, or you go into a classroom and you feel like you're competing. You go into a lab or a classroom and you feel like you're supported and upheld by your peers. So that's something that's really unique here, but that we pride ourselves on. We happily wear America's brightest orange. So anytime throughout the year, but especially on Fridays before game days, you can look out across campus and you'll just see everybody wearing orange. showing their school spirit. We are known as I said earlier, as America's friendliest college town. And then we also have the nation's greatest homecoming celebration. And as far as an example of our family, display and our family coming together. So this celebration, it's 1 week every October. Sadly, it's not happening this year to keep everyone safe, but hopefully next year, and it's our 100th anniversary next year for this celebration. So it should be huge. But normally the population in Stillwater, that's about 50,000, swells to over 100,000. So that's all alumni and family and friends that are coming back to town to take part. But there are events that go on every single day for the week. Kind of culminates in the walk around event that you can see in your top left picture there. So these really ornate house decks, and they shut down the streets and bring in vendors, and it's just a really exciting time to be in Stillwater. And then we have a parade, and of course the homecoming football game. So if there's ever a time to come to Stillwater, it's during homecoming week. So I always like to extend the invitation to our campus. I realize this isn't a very realistic or feasible option for many international students, but I would love to meet people in person. However, we do have a link here to our UVisit campus tour. So it's 360 degrees. You can walk through our library, which is the building you see in the picture here, the student union, a bunch of the different facilities. So it gives you a better feel for what our campus is like. And you can also connect with us on social media at BNOSU Cowboy. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. So this can be for you, or feel free to share with your students. And that concludes what I have. I know that's a ton of information, so if you have any questions, please feel free. I'll do my best to answer them for you.
Thank you, Audrey. That was very informative.
Thank you.
Kumar sir and Garima ma'am, if you have any queries, please feel free.
Yeah, it was very informative. Just want to know a certain information. One is that I want to know that how many Indian students are there?
That's a great question. I don't know the exact number. However, India is consistently in the top 5 as far as where we receive students from. If I had to take a guess, I would say like 200 to 300. So there's and then also, I didn't mention it, the International Student Organization is kind of the umbrella, but then we have different ones underneath. So there's a very active Indian Student Association on campus as well, but we have a few hundred that are here.
Is SAT compulsory to get admission?
No, so we only require the GPA, the 3.0 GPA, and then the English language proficiency score for admission. If they've taken the SAT, then it could help them, if they've scored higher on the SAT than they did on the English, that could help them with scholarships, but we don't require it for admission.
If a student is passing through Cambridge A levels with English as one of the languages he has, then is it necessary that the child has to go for IELTS or TOEFL after that also, because he already has a Cambridge English qualifications with him?
I believe so, yes, because it's pretty hardcore with the IELTS or the TOEFL. This is a common question, and it would ultimately, I would need to check with our evaluator, but I'm pretty confident that it's yes, we would still need the English language score. Okay.
Another thing I want to know that the scholarship part. So as you told that if the child is taking SAT, then that will help for more scholarships. But if a child who is not going for SAT, but has only the GPA, good GPA, I mean 5 subjects, A stars or A in 4 subjects, and has gone for an IELTS with a 7 band score in IELTS. So what could be the minimum scholarship he can get?
Yes, so let me just take a look at the scholarship chart. So as long as they meet that 3.25, if it comes back that that's what the equivalent is on the 4.0 scale, then the 7.0 IELTS, I'm going to share my screen again really quick. Yeah, so as long as they have that 3.25, the 7.0 IELTS is going to bring them up to that $28,000 award, or $7,000 over 4 years.
All right, all right. This is $7,000 per year.
Yes, yes, and they don't have to do it, you know, as long as they meet these requirements, that's just going to automatically appear on their account every year. They don't have to do anything
Okay.
to receive that.
What is the prospects of getting job after the first year of completion, or is there any chance like that they can go for a part-time job in the second year onwards?
Yeah, so it would kind of depend on what the student is studying. I will say that our College of Business, so our Spears School of Business, they have a really great employment rate after graduation. It's like 94% have full-time jobs within 3 months of graduation, which is really high. So we're proud of that. I don't know the exact statistic for all of our other academic colleges, but I do know that some programs, like the aviation program, for example, has a pipeline program with a couple of airlines. So if students are in the aviation program, they can, you know, get involved with this pipeline program, which is basically a promise of employment. Those are a couple of examples. If you ever have a student that is interested in one particular major and you want me to look more specifically into that, then I can. I will say that we do have internship and career fairs, you know, that happen every year that are either hosted at the university level or hosted within each academic college. So lots of opportunities to get connected with potential employers. And there might be other circumstances that I'm not aware of for different majors where there's a promise for employment, but that's a little bit about what I do know.
Do you offer an undergraduate course in clinical psychology?
In clinical psychology, I know we have psychology as a program, and we might offer the course clinical psychology. We don't have an undergraduate degree in clinical psychology.
Okay. Related to computer engineering, is chemistry compulsory for a student to get admission to computer engineering? If a student wants to go for computer engineering and has opted for maths and physics, but not opted for chemistry, is it possible he can go for an admission in computer engineering?
I honestly, I don't know the ins and outs and specifics for the individual programs. I'm happy to look into engineering for you. I can, I was going to see if I could pull up the degree sheet really quickly, and I might be able to tell you. Otherwise, I'll need to reach out to the College of Engineering and ask them.
You can do one thing. You can share, you know, your prospects with us, a soft copy of the prospects.
Okay. Yeah, let me see if they have it online here at Computer Engineering.
So if we can get the prospectus, then we can also go through that. What are the admission criteria for each course?
Right. So I do have, and I'm not an academic advisor, so I'll share this, but I might not be able to talk you through it very well, but I did find this. So this is our an example of finish in 4. So like what it would look like in order to get your degree within 4 years for a computer engineering major. So you can kind of see what's required. If I don't know, that's kind of small if you can see it. But I can definitely take this and go to our computer engineering advisor and ask, you know, what are the requirements that they have to come in.
It's telling maths, physics, and CS, computer science.
Mm-hmm.
No chemistry is mentioned.
I think, yeah, chemistry is mentioned in semester 1.
It's mentioned in chemistry 1 in semester 1.
Yeah, fourth number.
Okay.
Yeah, Chem 1414. That doesn't necessarily mean that's an intro chemistry course. That doesn't necessarily mean that they had to have had it in high school.
Cool.
Yeah, like they could start. I did take chemistry, but my high school didn't have physics, so that's an example. I'm kind of, also I was in school 10 years ago, so I should probably not go by me, but but yeah, so they, just because that Chem 1414 is on there doesn't mean that they would necessarily have to have it in high school.
Yes. I'm done with my questions. If Ms. Garima has any questions, she can.
First of all, I would like to apologize for not switching on my camera. Actually, my baby is in my lap and I'm not comfortable with switching on the camera.
Oh, no worries.
Uh,
I understand.
yes, Adi sir, you had asked my question. I wanted to ask the same question, that whether the university is providing a course, undergraduate course in clinical psychology. Another question is, what kind of counseling services is the university providing, ma'am? I mean, what kind of catharsis practices are there? Because as we know, mental health is one of the major concerns these days. So what type of catharsis practices the university is providing?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to, you can still see my screen, right? I'm going to try to find the university health services. So I know we have licensed counselors on campus, but we'll try to look up more information here. To give you a better idea. Oh, Student Counseling Center. So yeah, we've got licensed counselors, some that focus on alcohol and substance abuse, some that are just clinical counselors. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
So quite a staff. I don't know if you know what all of these mean. I personally do not, but I know that we have that. We also have the Reboot Center, which is really cool. This is kind of a place on campus where students can go to find, a bit more calming relaxation area, which is really cool. That's located in our student union. So we have that resource available. We have the pet therapy. We have the actual licensed counselors, alcohol and substance abuse, and then student accessibility services as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Did that help answer your question a little bit?
Okay, so biofeedback is also valuable. Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Is there anything else, Ajisa, you have to ask?
No, she has explained everything very well.
Great. And we'll be sharing the PPT with you very soon.
Thank you, dear.
That you can have a look once again. And whatever queries you'll be having in future, you can write to us or you can write to Audrey as well.
Audrey, I have a question.
Sure.
Am I allowed to ask?
Yeah, of course.
Regarding scholarship, as we know that most of the universities mention that if the student is maintaining a minimum GPA throughout the course, suppose if it is 2.75, so if the student is maintaining 2.75 GPA every year, then only the student would be eligible to get that scholarship. But as you mentioned in your slide, that if the student is getting 3.25 GPA as per grade 12, plus any of those criteria, suppose some score in IELTS or a particular score in SAT, then the student would be eligible for that particular scholarship throughout the program, throughout the duration of that course, right? So
I do think that there is a minimum that they have to maintain once they're here. Like they can't come and get a 1.0 GPA and still maintain that scholarship. I think it's a 3.0. It could be a 2.75. I can confirm that with you, but it's not the 3.25 that they had to have from high school. Because 3.25, that's pretty high for college. So yeah, I can see what it is that they actually have to maintain in order to keep automatically receiving that award.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I guess not.
No, nothing. Our questions are all answered.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for listening and learning a bit more about OSU. It was a pleasure speaking with y'all this morning or this evening, taking time out of your evening. I've made some notes on the programs that you specifically asked about. So I'll see what other information I can find and be sure to share that with you.
Thank you very much, Audrey, for this wonderful, information. And you have described very well. And hope that we can get along with some good admissions for you. And one thing I would like to know further, this is regarding that IELTS thing. Is it compulsory or not? There are certain universities in the US, they don't want IELTS if a student has passed through Cambridge qualifications. So if
Okay.
if you can check with this, and give a confirmation through Nupur and Afsha, it will be great for us. We can guide the students accordingly.
Okay, will do. I'll confirm and get back to you soon.
All right. Thank you very much, and have a great day ahead.
Yes, you too. Or have a good night.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Audrey, can we extend